strategy that they've gotten in their regular class or not.
You were?
So, yeah, so that,
You know what that's telling me.
well, it's because I have cluster on Wednesday. So I started on Thursday, and I did it on Friday, and then Monday, and then some teachers said, oh, good, I'm gonna do this too now.
Yeah.
You know, so it was like,
gotten to it yet.
yeah.
Well, if you started on Thursdays and it's 3, 4, or 5, they haven't had cluster yet.
Right, but
That's what I'm saying.
but it's also giving us the message that's not being implemented. And that's the actual truth.
Well, not necessarily.
No, it's
because
just
you
the
just wait
delay.
a week.
Yeah, so that's
After
kind of
you
maybe that
Do it
is
today,
a
and then
reality
a week
of it.
later to start
Like
it.
instead of me trying to put
so
it in
that other
tomorrow
teachers have had a chance to do it.
or Monday, you know, maybe, but then I don't have anything to bring back to cluster on the next Wednesday because I'm still doing that. You know.
I think
What-
if you do it Friday or Monday, well, even not Friday.
And Friday still.
Yeah, so Monday, and you have Monday and Tuesday.
What Trish explained to me was, is you should walk out of here with a plan to try to implement the strategy before you come back to cluster the next week. One class, one time, and it does not have to be written. It could just be a conversation. When I said, it was written for me because I was in the ELA. But if you wanted to implement it in music, you could have 3 people pair up and just say, what's something you liked about even music class today, or what's something you liked. You need to take the strategy and implement it how you want to. Okay? It does not have to be written, is what I'm trying to say.
Is there any way we can connect it with classroom teachers? You know, because Carol and I are feeling a lot of that same kind of frustration. When you do take the time and you put something in there, you know, it makes them mad. You know, because they're like, you know, and then, what good was it?
What good was it?
You know?
Exactly.
So like tonight, on top of
Makes
my
them
other
mad.
stuff, I have
Kids
the
that
4th
don't
grade and the
stop,
5th grade that I'm gonna grade and I'm gonna score, and Wayne is gonna use the 4th grade one.
We're not here to please
The
them,
other
we're
ones
here to
are
teach
just,
them.
you know. So maybe, I mean, it would be good if we could be helpful. So like if we know that they're doing this, then maybe we could tell them in their related arts classes next week or whatever, they're gonna use this, and they're gonna practice this. So they need to have been exposed to it or something so that when we do it, I mean, I know that would take extra planning. I don't know how we would coordinate it.
Well, I'm hopeful that, that's what they're supposed to be getting in cluster. And I'm hopeful that they will take it and they will implement it, and I will tell them that the related arts teachers are going to try the strategy too, but that it will be oral. You know? And for you, it might just be the like and the wish, you know, depending upon who you decide to do it with.
It's like maybe if I made a poster out of like that, the grow and the, what I'm gonna do for the younger kids that she set up with, if I had that poster up, like kind of like my objective type thing,
Right.
you know, I could put that up and we could do it mentally or verbally, you know,
Yeah.
think for a minute and just ask a couple.
Yeah, I mean,
And then what are
you
you gonna
could
do?
take, you're talking about that exercise, you could take that, because that was another critical attribute of this lesson. You don't have to implement that strategy if you want to
Yeah.
implement this, and, I mean,
If,
like.
if they would be familiar seeing it, like if it would be something that when they saw it, that it's being used, and it's not just me putting it up on my board and saying, okay, you know.
Well, the problem is I can't, I give them a strategy and then they decide how they're gonna use it.
Right.
I can't make everybody use
Use it,
this.
right.
I can expose them to it, and like I said, I saw from teaching it yesterday that they need more exposure to it. But if you do it with the 3rd grade, that one class, they will have seen it.
Right.
And then hopefully some other people will, but I gave them, dozens of exit slips. They
Right.
not necessarily will use this one. I like this
I love
one
that one.
because it hits that area on the rubric that's very hard to get, is setting your own goals, which is getting the kids to take ownership of their learning. And I know, Carol Brediger, you work so much on getting them to take ownership of their behavior.
And their exit slip often is, what is my action plan to?
Exactly. So it's the same thing. You don't,
Same thing.
Right.
It's
you could
just their
tweak
goal
that
for
in
their-
there,
you know, we all have goals for our own behavior, and so we should be able to apply it. So if this is more applicable, that's fine. I want y'all to take it, stay true to your discipline. Just sit here and think for a minute of what you could implement from what you got from cluster today, okay? Oh, she's bringing me some, okay, yeah, thank you.
Do you have a little copy of that?
Yes, I do. Did anybody notice you were in a closing shirt?
Only a few.
Nobody's seen me.
I put Marvin's head on, I should have just wore that down.
You did?
Yeah, I did come down all with it.
Did the office do anything?
Margarita, Carolina, Carolina.
Okay, it was,
So we just, not,
Spot
not,
shirts.
yeah.
was it didn't do anything about,
She's had some on her shirt.
okay.
So that wish question, like, is that gonna appear again ever? Or was that?
I'm gonna keep
for that
doing it,
piece?
and I'm hopeful that they will implement it in their classrooms, because that's the strategy for this week.
Right.
So they should.
So
So,
that's
but
what
they'll
we
just
need
do
to
it
be
this-
thinking about
Just this
the
week,
fine.
and then it goes.
So we just need to put that,
Like question with
Shamrock
strategy.
up there on the board and
You can.
talk about it
Mhm.
after we've done our strings lesson and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Mhm.
And just have people volunteer to speak.
Yeah, that's, I mean,
That's.
like at the end of my lesson with this, I asked several of the students, what do you think you've grown in your writing? What do you think? And I tried to relate it to not just that lesson, but the 6 trades. And several of them were able to say, you know, I think I'm getting better with my ideas, or a lot of them went with bold beginnings. But, then I'm like, okay, so what do you wanna work on tomorrow? You know, it just was very specific, and a lot of them was spelling, punctuation. But that was my ELA lesson for you. I mean, it might be a goal.
Doing
and-
strings this week, so what do you wanna work on next week?
Yeah, or like, what do you want personally?
Personally.
Personally. Yeah, what do I wanna get better at in music? You know, singing on pitch, maybe not singing at all, depending upon whether they have.
So Caroline, you have that sample exit slip right there?
Yeah, I was looking to see, it's all in Teachers Pay Teachers, because I bought those. I don't have a copy right now in my hand, but if you go to,
And I know I came in here late and I heard the fact that doesn't obviously need to be written, and I've seen y'all do this too, as far as when the kids are lined up and ready to go. And you turn and talk to the person next to you or whatever, as far as that same strategy, as far as, you know, what did you think you did well today, or those kind of things too. So like I said, it doesn't, like Caroline said, it doesn't, but once again, I came in after the conversation.
yeah, you need to adapt it to what works for you. Because I don't ever want, actually it's under exit slips, and it's in this packet.
Oh,
The Shamrock is it?
Now, the Shamrock is, I have a copy of that over there, but the Shamrock is, just something I created. Actually, Eve helped me, but it's in the cluster, folder, under today's date.
that's for fun.
I
There's
just,
a Shamrock die cut too.
but I can give you a copy of that, Carol. I got it right here. I just need to make some more
I
copies.
just want that on my flip chart.
And then what I did, Carol, is I just scanned it and put it up, but you don't really use the computer, the screen, do you? You just set, I mean, you literally could
You
just,
could trace the Shamrock on your